So I was a bit of, I'm going to start with a couple of quotes. One is a famous quote by Yogi Berra: "You don't know where you're going. You may not get there and wind up someplace else." So, I took one from my dad, so just dating my age here, but this is, as far as back as I can remember, I think I was destined to do program science. And I come from a family of 4 boys, and I remember him saying, would you stop being part of the problem and be part of the solution? So with that, I've organized my slides. I have 5 slides, and just the questions. I was the one that, with a group of us, helped to develop them. But I just wanted to spend 3 or 4 minutes highlighting some of my ideas around some of those solutions. So we always talk about champions, and I have to appreciate the context for my comments are really about my experience in working with the OHTN and the Ontario community, and nationally with the centers that I run, which I'm very fortunate to be part of, that are really helping to shape population health and health services in Canada. But you really need champions who can actually feel comfortable with stepping, not only comfortable in their own area, but being able to step outside of their area, understand the worlds of other people that you're working with, and to work with them in ways that actually where you find common ground and common solutions. And so I think this is probably pretty obvious, but it really is something that in the academic world, or if you're working in a hospital, there isn't that focus or pressure or emphasis to sort of really step out and be in the community and work in ways that we all expect to publish and get grants, but this takes time. And really the protected time and the spaces, you heard a lot today about just building partnerships and relationships takes time. We all know that. But I think it's important to emphasize. Looking at the first part is, so what should we do to actually get us going? How can we launch this? How can we get some momentum building? And I think there's some things that we need to do very practically to think about just how much evidence there is out there. It's just remarkable how much new primary research and synthesis of research that comes out every single day. And how do you capture that and understand it and help teach people across not just the scientists, but the people you work with in the front lines to understand that evidence? I think it's really important for us to think about how we use that evidence in thinking about strategically where to act. And I think health economics and modeling is very important. We heard a lot too about the challenges around data and having enough data, but also using that data in effective ways and having systems to help inform that. So and monitor and evaluate. So I think these are important sort of fundamental principles or approaches that we need to build in. In terms of the roles of partners and stakeholders in civil society, I think really, the meaningful engagement, and we talk about meaningful engagement, but it really is that. And the partners really to be involved in ways that everybody feels that you're a part of it. You're working shoulder to shoulder. We talk about leveling the playing field, and I think it's important for everybody to bring that lived experience and the perspectives around the table and to have places to talk about it. I think, this notion that what happens down the line, so if we're going to ask somebody to change things, if we're going to advocate that this is a good research evidence or this is a good intervention, what does it mean to actually think about that implementation, and how do you manage that from a change management perspective? Scaling up promising practices in program science, I think we don't really have the frameworks. We're talking about how we work, but we really don't have that place where, and Chris's slide is left blank. So the planning, the evaluation, the framework for that is really important. I can't go and emphasize enough about doing this without training and support, that we don't have all the cadre of people, and we need to be thinking about this proactively, that to build the next generation of people who can think and mentor in these areas. And the coordination, as we talked about, around just how to access the things that work. How do you think about the business plans around those and how you sustain them? And so these are things that, and how you monitor these over time. These are the key things that I think, from my perspective, we're going to need to think about if we're going to scale up. And then lastly, for what is needed to build a sustainable model, I think it's be creative, and as Jamie has said too, it's very pragmatic or practical how you, and this question around different disciplines, it's about everybody coming to the table and working in a way that can bring those perspectives. That funding needs to be there. It needs to be programmatic in a way that supports over time, that it isn't the land of pilot projects. And as well, we need to figure out how to, once we develop things, how to keep them going. So these are some of my thoughts for the moment and look forward to the discussion.